Hello, good afternoon, everybody. I hope you are having a good time wherever you're watching me from. So, today's webinar is going to be about support and resistance levels. I'd like to mention that we've done a similar webinar in the past. You can check the archives. We've done something like that in the past. But today, I just want us to build on where we left it the other time. I'd like by first of all saying that most people just focus on horizontal levels. We believe that horizontal support and horizontal resistance levels are the best ones for trading, but in truth we also do have dynamic support and resistance levels that are not horizontal in nature. Some are diagonal in nature, some keep changing, some are based on moving averages, some are based on trend lines, and some are based on other things. Okay, so I want you to look at my screen. I hope you can see my screen clearly. Whatever you're seeing here, these two lines, they're just normal moving averages. There's nothing much special with them. They're just normal moving averages. So far, we are used to cases where when you draw a level like that, you'll come and say this is a support here, a support, there is a break, there is a resistance, there is a resistance, there is a resistance, and a good place to look for a sell from. Excuse me. Then you could also say that this is a support or a resistance. Here you can also say this is a support. You can see the same thing is happening here. So horizontally, you can see that we had price bounce off from this point, then head straight to the lower side. It did the same thing here, went straight to the lower side. It did the same thing here, went straight to the lower side. It did the same thing here, then it went straight to the lower side. So this has become a very good resistance. This is the normal way, the normal classic way of doing it. You look at this as a resistance. If the price comes to that point, you look for a sell. If the price breaks beyond that point, you still look for a buy. You consider that as a breakout. So there's a way this doesn't have to be horizontal. You could have a similar level but diagonally. You could have a similar thing happening diagonally. That's the price keeps getting to the same place, but then along some straight diagonal level, but keeps bouncing off from it. So look at this. I want you to look at this area here. Look at this area. Disregard what happened here. You can see that the price came to this point, bounced off from it, went straight down. It came back, bounced off from it, went straight to the last side. It came back, did the same thing, went down, did the same thing, went down. It came back, broke above it, then again broke below it. So we expect that if the price can come back and touch the same place, this could give us a very good place to look for a sell from. So previously, we'll be looking at the first touch that we are doing nothing. The next touch, it's a resistance. Then we start selling when the third touch comes in, the fourth touch, and then the fifth touch. These are the instances when we'll be looking for a sell. If the price touches that level, we sell it. If the price touches again, we sell it. If the price touches again, we sell it. So this, whatever is happening now, is actually known as a dynamic resistance level. So that's where the description comes from. It's dynamic in that it keeps changing. It's not one straight line. There are a range of prices where it's happening, but it's using the same moving averages to find its anchor points. Like we call this an anchor, 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 and anchor. Those are the resistance levels. So look at also, let's check another example here. No, that doesn't look very good. It still doesn't look very good. Let's see. So we have to scroll back to the past to see when it was being used. Like we had a resistance here, we had a resistance there. Look at how nicely the price used it at this point. Had a resistance, and then we had a resistance there. So you can see clearly that the price for some reasons kept respecting this level, these two moving averages, even though they were not along the same price. So let's get other examples. Let's see. I will reduce the period for this moving averages. Let's see a lesser period. So when you place a lesser period, you can see clearly here the zone was holding price below it, above it very well. It was holding price. There was that break, then it contained price. You can see that here it was broken before it finally contained price again at the top. So that is the essence of having a dynamic support or a dynamic resistance level. It keeps holding price even though it's not along the same price. So this is based on moving averages. Let's now look at an example where we are drawing a trend line and then we base our analysis based on that trend line. Let's see. So look at this. Look at this here. We see clearly that this is a very good resistance, a very good resistance, a very good resistance, and a very good resistance. So what I mean by resistance is that the price went to this level, could not break below it, then it came back down. That becomes a resistance. If the price goes to a level but does not clearly break above it and then goes down, that's a good resistance. So this could have been a sell place. This could have been a very good place to sell it from. We could not have sold it here because this is the second time this was happening. So we start selling on the third touch, the fourth touch, and the fifth touch. On the lower side, we also have another level here. So we have the first touch here as a support there. We have another one as support there. We have another one as a support there. Then we had a support here, and then we had a support there. So normally if I see anything like this, if I identify that this is a very good trend line, I would be waiting for a buy when the price gets there, a buy when the price gets there, and a buy when the price gets to that point there. So those are the main places I'll be looking at. If the price touches any of these levels, I'll be much more interested in a trade. So I buy or sell on the third touch, the fourth touch, or the fifth touch, or even the sixth touch. Does it make sense? Whatever I'm saying, does it make sense? Okay, so look at another example. Look at this one here. So one more thing which you have to take into account is that whenever you have a resistance trend like this one here, whenever you have something like this, you can see clearly that the price is continuously forming higher lows. Like we had this higher, this high is higher than the one where the anchor point. Then there is a low. Then there is a high there, and then there is a low there, then there is a high there, there is a low there, then there is a high there, there is a low there, and then we have a high there before we had this low, and then we have an ultimate high somewhere there. So look at what's happening here. It looks like in this case here the price keeps forming higher lows. Like we have the lowest low here, a higher low, a higher low, a higher low, a higher low, and at the same time it's forming higher highs. Like this is a lower high, higher high, higher high, another higher high, this is a higher high, then this high is higher than the previous one. So in such a case, our interest is not so much on the resistance trend line. We are interested in buy position, so we are interested mostly on supportive trend lines, like the ones which gives us buy positions, where the price is indicating that it's going to. Are we clear? So we look for a sell, 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 and we look for a sell. If the price is in an uptrend like this one, instead of looking for those sell positions, we'll now be waiting for buy positions. Like we'll draw a trend line, a similar one like this, and instead wait for price to give us buy signals. Does that make sense? Okay. So I believe today we've done a good explanation for the same. We have another trend line here. Look at how nicely it was used as a resistance here. We had a resistance. We had a resistance here, and we had a resistance, and a good place to look for a sell from. So thank you very much. That should bring us to the end of today's session. We are going to meet again next week at the same time. Thank you, and see you.